Giving voice actors an opportunity to get their most pressing business and marketing questions answered. That's what the Everyday VOpreneur Summer Series is all about, and that is what we are here to do today. Rosanna Pilcher, welcome to the show. What is the question that you have for me?
Okay. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you bringing me on. It's kind of sensitive. So I am a narrator and a voice actor. And with my narration, I do a lot under Rosanna Pilcher, but I also have a pseudonym.
Okay.
And when it comes to marketing, my question is, how do I market my pseudonym when, as of right now, all I can do is put up, pictures of the book or an audio clip. And so much of the social media marketing right now, they want to see this, so they know you're real and all of that. So I don't want to share my pseudonym publicly so people in my hometown don't know what my pseudonym's name is. So how do I market her and lift her up and promote her whenever this is so important on social media?
It's fitting that you're asking me this question right now, because literally this week I've been reading a book about Benjamin Franklin, who is very famous for all of his pseudonyms.
Okay.
He wrote constantly and published constantly under pseudonyms. He was 16 years old and he felt like he had things that he wanted to say, and he was working for his brother, who had a print shop, and his brother would not print any of his content, for lack of a better word. And so one of the very first pseudonyms was Silence Doogood. A lot of people are familiar with that name. If you've ever watched National Treasure, you know Silence Doogood. But yeah. Silence Doogood was a middle-aged widow. And this is being done by a 16-year-old Benjamin Franklin in 1722. And he ended up, the Silence Doogood letters ended up being, they're still talked about and read to this day. And that all came under a pseudonym. So I'm very much in the headspace of pseudonyms. Although,
perfect.
I suppose in 1722 or whenever it was, he didn't really have to worry too much about video content and social media and things of that nature.
What was put out there. They wouldn't want to take any advice or any knowledge from a 16-year-old at that point.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, first and foremost, I think that you can absolutely create a whole second set of accounts. Mm-hmm. So there's no reason why your pseudonym couldn't have an Instagram account. There's no reason why your pseudonym couldn't have a TikTok account or whatever, if video content is where you decided that you wanted to go. And so right through that, you're creating separation. Right. You're just going to build the brand under your pseudonym, and nobody needs to know that there's a connection one way or another. You're going to set it up under a different email address or whatever. And I think that's the easiest way to do it right off the bat, to create a little bit of separation just from the accounts and from the identity standpoint, is your pseudonym just has their own stuff. You can create another Facebook or whatever. Technically they tell you you're not supposed to do that, but everybody in the whole world does. Now, LinkedIn, a little bit different story. LinkedIn tends to be a little more picky about that. There are specific rules about that. And if they catch you with the second profile, they allege that they will shut it down and all of that sort of stuff. But still, absolutely, you could do Instagram, Threads, X, whatever. Choose the social media formats or platforms that you want to use, and start with secondary accounts. I think from a video standpoint, though, people don't need to necessarily see your face. They just need something that they can connect with. And if you look at faceless YouTube channels, well done faceless YouTube channels. In a nutshell is one of them. 25 million subscribers, 3 to 10 million videos views per video. WatchMojo, 26 million subscribers. They get anywhere from hundreds of thousands of views up to millions of views per video. The Infographic Show, 15 million subscribers, 500,000 plus views per video. These are all faceless YouTube channels. And so the point is that it is possible to connect with the audience without ever showing your face. But then the question becomes what goes on the screen. And so there's, I think, a couple of different things that you could lean into for that. One of the most fun ones that I think is recording everything POV, point of view. So where the camera is your eyes. So it's not the camera looking back at you, it's the camera looking at what you're seeing. So when you walk in to the booth and you sit down to record, the camera sees what you see. Maybe it sees your screen or it sees your microphone or or whatever, right? When you're doing things in your booth, it sees the script, it sees the waveform on the screen, it sees your hands while you're moving and editing, or
I got to get a
whatever.
manicure if I do that part. But
what? Hey, that seems like a good excuse
Is
to
it
go
a
get one, right?
write-off?
And you
Yeah.
get to write it off as a business expense now, right? But honestly, it's things like that where it becomes a POV thing. So it's like you're taking them along with me. Come along with me while I go into the booth and record, or something like that. So your voice is still highlighted, which is obviously the major representation of the brand. But you don't have to worry about identity. I mean, as long as you don't have like very, like if you have your name tattooed across your knuckles or something like that, you might want to be aware of that or something. But so shooting POV, I think, is one. Creating some sort of avatar would be another. Could you go to a graphic designer or to an animation expert or a video production person that's in your client list? Do you have a 3D animator in your client list right now or something? And could they create some sort of an avatar?
Ooh.
Or some sort of some sort of an animation or something like that, that you could then use as a visual for representing whoever this pseudonym is. The other one that came up that I was thinking about was recording in silhouette, because part of the pseudonym is the mystery.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Who is this? Who is this? And so then it leaves them kind of wondering when you're recording in silhouette, and so just it's all done with appropriate lighting and
you mean like those
shadows
documentaries?
What's that?
Like in the documentaries?
Yeah,
where
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So they're just hearing you,
all
right? They're just
mm-hmm.
hearing you. They're not seeing you, and so I think that would certainly be something. Making something else the face of the brand. So it's a signature hat. It's the silhouette. It's the animated logo. It's a mascot. It's just a specific color palette that you're using, or right, something like that becomes a visual cue that when people see it, they immediately make the association to, oh, this is, and pseudonym goes here or whatever. Kind of like how every voice actor on the planet that comes across any interesting Dr. Pepper content whatsoever sends it all to me immediately. Sometimes I get the same thing 25 times because there's just an instant association there, right? And so you're just creating a different kind of association where it's not specifically tied to you, your face, your identity. So I think something like that is a possibility. I mean, part of what we're focusing on here is the voice, right? And so you make the voice the celebrity.
Yeah.
The voice is what becomes the focus. You have signature line, you've got maybe consistent music, you've got distinctive vocal performances, you've got catchphrases, I don't know, things like that. But so the focus, people are paying attention to that more than they're paying attention to what's on the screen. Is kind of the idea behind that. With these DocuShort videos that I've been creating, I am recording them where I'm on the top of the screen, and then I'm actually creating a video below me that goes along with whatever the subject matter is. So I just did a video not too long ago about the Hoover Dam, and so all kinds of video and B-roll and things like that of the Hoover Dam. That could be another option where you lean into B-roll and different types of footage. If you're talking in the audiobook space, it's dramatic lighting and candles and coffee shops and vintage typewriters
Cozy.
And bookshelves and all those sorts of things that you're thinking about. And so you almost create a world where that becomes, you build some sort of a scene where that becomes the visual, the anchor of the visual. And if you wanted to have a like the bouncing waveform that you see on videos, so that there's something that's represented and reflected there. But I just think there's a lot of different things that you can lean into visually that don't require you to have to be on screen. And then specifically from a content point, and some of these you might need to talk to the author or the publisher before you use some of the content, but at the same time, you're promoting the book. And so it, feels like it's a win-win situation, but it's, what's the 3 lines from the book that gave you the chills, or the opening
Yeah.
line of a chapter
Ooh, I
that
like
made you
that.
like,
Yeah.
ooh, right? Like you pull the,
Yeah.
every once in a while there's like, oh my gosh, I heard this phrase
like
and now I'm going to
this
use
and
this
that.
phrase. And so you grab some
Yeah.
of those. And so you're just promoting those simple little lines. And that's something that is literally a visual background of somebody sitting in a bookshop reading a book with the 3 lines in text on the screen. And
Yeah.
that becomes a 10-second short that doesn't require anything,
Yeah.
right? Other
'Cause
than,
I do want to celebrate this work, and I want to celebrate a lot. It's really, really beautiful stuff. I just can't show my face,
Yeah.
because I used to teach children and, all the things. So,
that's where I think you lean into some of this other stuff and you use some of these other types of footage that
Yeah.
it's not so that it becomes about the book or about the content of the book or about the voice, right? Because ultimately you're promoting yourself or your pseudonym as the narrator, but there's nothing wrong with promoting the book. How many we were talking before we started recording about fiction versus nonfiction. I said I would never do a fiction book because I couldn't handle the characters. And you said you were just working on what you'd said 14 teenage girl characters or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's a piece of content right there. How many voices can you fit in one chapter?
Yeah. Oh.
And a clip.
Yes.
Right? A sentence from each one of those characters, boom, 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 in succession. And then all you got to do is just find some sort of visual to put up with that. It could be a picture, like these are the images that I used for inspiration. This girl looks like this girl looks like whatever, something like that. Like, I mean, there's so many different ways that you could visually represent that, but the primary focus of that reel is on the voices and your ability to do all of these different characters.
And it shows the process of it without needing, because if I put the faces of inspiration up, I love that. Oh my goodness, I love that.
The hardest accent that you've ever narrated. Have you ever had to do anything with accents?
Yes.
I bet there is content around there.
I get made fun of by my family for some of my accents that I don't do professionally. So
there's probably some really fun content there, either from just the pure frustration of it or the difficulty. Here's what I had to do. Here's a tip that I picked up from a coach. Here's something that I leaned into to help me come up with that. Like there's countless directions that you could go on that. And then just the nature of the accents itself, because then that all becomes, every one of those becomes you showcasing yourself and your skill set.
That's a really good thought too. Because I could even talk about coaches that I've worked with that are wonderful and that know their stuff when it comes to accent work or
here's a tip
development.
that I received that really helped me hit this accent, or here's something that I have to keep in mind. Here's the visual that I put in my head every time I have to come down to that accent or something like that.
Yeah.
When the villain finally speaks, there's always a turn, right? You can always feel a change in the story when you go from one character to the next, and maybe there's, so I think little ideas like that are, and they're repeatable. Because it's every book, right? Every book has great lines. Every book has great monologues. Every book has a phrase that really stands out. Every book has characters that you can then draw to create content ideas. And so all of that sort of stuff is content that it becomes repeatable. You can use the same concepts over and over and over again. You can do it for every book. It gives you the ability to promote the book and the author a little bit, which is great. Drive some sales. It also gives you the ability to showcase your skill set, and none of it requires visually your face.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Thank you. I was thinking I was going to have to do like some mood lighting and just on my hands or something, or just like showing just a book. And I know, because people trust this, and you want authors, because the whole point for me on Instagram is authors. That's where a lot of them hang out, and they want to see who they're giving their book baby to. Right. So,
but that's also an audience that understands the concept of pseudonym.
That's true.
Which in and of itself could become a content pillar. I mean, we just talked about Benjamin Franklin and Silence Doogood.
Yeah.
You could create an entire series out of famous pseudonyms.
And creating, I love that. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Marc.
And so then you're setting the scene, right? You're setting, so people, when they understand that this is a pseudonym, right?
That's gold. Clip that, everybody. That's so good.
No. This is only for Rosanna.
I mean, don't clip. No, we're not going to gatekeep that. That was brilliant. I love that. Yeah.
But that's part of like, so
you can have fun with it. It doesn't have to be so like
yeah,
serious. Yeah.
The idea behind it is the mystery, right? And I think, you know, I'm going to assume that I've got a pretty good idea what kind of books we're talking about here. And there's the association that goes along with that. People understand, right?
Yeah.
And you have the mystery or a little bit of fun behind that or whatever. But I think there are so many different ways that you could have a lot of fun with content in short form reels that do not require the face at all. And I think some of them are going to be stock footage and B-rolls. Some of that might be scenes that you create yourself in Canva, or you have a graphic designer create for you. You know, like you create some sort of scene that becomes associated with whenever you're doing like your, you know, the 3 lines that gave me chills. There's a consistent visual that goes with that every time. And so then when they see that backdrop appear, they know, oh, we're about to get the 3 lines that gave me chills from this book. Right. And so I think there's ways that you can create brand associations and do that. But there's something to be said for the art of the POV and the mystery, and just seeing your hands editing or looking at the screen while you're recording, or, you know, come with me into the booth while I record the next chapter of this book. And maybe that's one where you come in and you record the first line or two, and then you go into time lapse as you work through the chapter, and then the video ends with the last line or two, and then you come walking back out of the booth, but they were there with you while you recorded the chapter. They heard a little bit of the content, but you don't give all the content away, obviously, but they never saw anything.
That's so good. That's getting the gears turning and giving me fun ideas in my head. I love this.
And that's, I think you get the first 3 or 4 ideas, 5 ideas or whatever. And then as you start going, I think it'll start coming to you as well. You'll start, you know, what's your favorite part about the recording process? What's your favorite part about the, you know, what was your favorite part about the book? What do you know, are there warm-up rituals that you go through? Are there rituals that you have to get yourself into character or get yourself into the headspace to be able to record? Or, you know, this is what I do when I've got to record this kind of character. This is what I do when I got to record that kind of character. And all of those little things that you're doing that to you now, they're just second nature. You're a professional. You just go in the booth, you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But it's a behind the scenes thing that somebody else might find fascinating.
I appreciate, because you got to hit pillars when you're doing that, but that it can be like with each book, you can have that where they get used to seeing, oh, this is what this one is for this book. Yeah. Because I think I keep wanting to reinvent the wheel, and that is not sustainable.
And the beautiful thing about this too is you've already got books. Who says you can't go back and do this for a book you recorded 2 years ago? Right. So
to get her platform
to start building content so that you've got content consistently. Right now, if you're in a situation where you're consistently booked, and you know that there's every 2 months, there's going to be another new book coming out or whatever, then you can kind of plan around that. But you've got a back catalog that you could lean into. Why can't you use that to set it up in the meantime? And so it's not like you're sitting around waiting to get started.
Yeah.
And that becomes a really great way to reconnect with some of those authors that you've worked with in the past as well. If there's any of them that you need to reconnect with. I'm
still here. Yeah.
Well, when you post something and tag them and tag their book, you just came back top of mind with them again, right?
Yeah. I see you coming in back door saying, hey girl.
See? That's it.
I like that. Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you.
I hope that's been helpful. I think there's a lot of different ideas that you could lean into that you could definitely have a lot of fun with. I think the first thing would be just setting up, pick whatever platform you're going to use, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Set up the secondary accounts to start with. And then based on everything that we just talked about, I think you could probably easily find 3 to 5 pillars that you could lean into. And so those become your primary go-tos, right? You're going to create those for every book that you work on. But in between all of that, there's going to be stuff that's going to hit you. Every book is going to have a unique experience, a unique story, something that's going to be worth sharing. And so you'll still have plenty of stuff to drop in. So it doesn't feel like a completely automated robotic process because, she's going to share this thing, the 3 lines, and she's going to share the villain, and she's going to share the characters in every book. No, there's going to be all this other stuff that pops up in between because every book presents different things as you go through the process. But at least you've got those pillars to lean into for getting yourself set up and knowing that you have something that you can post consistently.
I love that. I was starting to take notes at the beginning and then remembered, no, I can go back and listen to this again.
I'll send you the transcript.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Marc.
Yeah, this has been really good. I'm sure that this is probably going to be a helpful one for anybody that's working in that space, but hopefully it's giving you a little bit of inspiration. I look forward to seeing what you do with it.
Well, will you? You won't know.
Look forward to seeing whoever does with it.
Will you know her? I don't know.
We won't even know.
No.
That'll be the hard part now. All of a sudden, this great content is going to start showing up from this random audiobook narrator, and everybody's going to be like, wait a minute.
Who is this? Don't share. Please don't share. Please. I taught public school children. Please don't share if you figure her out.
Oh, man. That's good.
Thanks, Marc. I appreciate your help.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you coming on the show.